Hello everybody, welcome to LT Gaming. My name is Tom.
And hey everyone, welcome to LT Gaming. My name is Luke and I'm back. And this time, we're doing a video on my top 5 Steam Deck games so far. As I'm the only one with a Steam Deck, Tom's just going to contribute because I think you're pretty aware of most of these games, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely aware of these games. You've been trying to cajole me into getting a Steam Deck for some time, saying it's the greatest thing ever, so we thought we'd explore the topic today and see what games you've been getting into and take it from there.
Totally, and the reason it's the best thing ever is because when your partner tells you that you have to go to bed and have to stop playing games, you can play it in bed. And there we go. So I'm playing it late at night and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
So in some ways it may have ruined your life.
In some ways this is true. I'm getting up too late, I'm not doing my day job, but hey, that's all good. Who cares? That stuff's not important.
Alright guys, and of course, let us know your comments in on the topic, what games you're playing, what games you like, and of course, remember to like and subscribe.
Definitely. We appreciate all of your feedback on the channel, and your support is always great. And to be honest, I want to know what you think about the Steam Deck and if there's any games that you'd recommend. I just want to caveat before we start that I see this as a multi-part series. These are not the only 5 games that I'm playing, and they're not really in any order. I could have made a list of 20, but I'm going to make numerous videos on this topic, so just wanted to put that out there before we started.
Beautiful. Let's roll. And the first game we have for you guys is an absolute classic. Needs no real introduction. It's Half-Life 2. Luke, how has it been playing Half-Life 2 on the Steam Deck?
Well, to be honest, I played Half-Life 2 back in the day, and I suffered from a bug which caused motion sickness. And I know you kind of make fun of me for this, but I do suffer pretty badly.
Indeed.
You do. I do suffer pretty badly from motion sickness, and I think it was the FOV at the time was very close. However, they fixed that, and I thought, I'll fire it up on the Steam Deck. It plays like a dream, which using the trackpad to move around and playing the game in bed has been an absolute joy. And just the story is still great. I mean, yes, the graphics aren't as great as modern titles, but on the Steam Deck, that doesn't matter so much on a small screen.
Yeah, and one thing that always concerns me with, I would say, like first-person shooters on these sort of devices would be the degree of control. Is it kind of hindered in any way? Would you be like not as good on the game on the Steam Deck, or how is it?
It's a really good point. Yeah, you're not quite as good as you would be with a keyboard and mouse when you're playing with the trackpad, but with Half-Life, I found it accurate enough. There has been a couple of times where I've just wandered up to creatures and just blazed away with my machine gun and killed them, and it hasn't been that precise. So I think if you're playing like a technical shooter, it wouldn't be great, but for a story-based shooter like Half-Life 2, it definitely works well enough.
Okay, and then obviously one thing that's very important to ask is how it runs. What is the kind of functionality of it?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the main talking points for these games, because obviously on Steam Deck things can be playable or semi-playable, and it's whether they actually function in reality. And Half-Life 2 runs obviously at very good graphic settings. It has a solid 40 FPS because I reduced mine down so it doesn't burn through battery life. And overall, it does not tank the battery at all, so you can get very long play sessions with this. The modern games, you probably get an hour and a half, 2 hours on the Steam Deck. You're going to be pushing, at least double that, if not a lot more, with this older style of game.
Awesome. This would be one that would definitely appeal to me. So, maybe I'll get a Steam Deck. Who knows?
Maybe you will. And look, the game obviously has aged, but the mechanics are awesome. The story is awesome. It blew me away that I missed out on most of it the first time round. And I'm just having a great time with it, and hopefully I'll get on and play some of the expansion packs as well.
And the next game we have on the list for you is one which has passed me by entirely, so you're going to have to speak on this one at length. It is Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers, the brand new installment in the Sonic series, and of course the first open world Sonic game, which probably sounds kind of weird if you haven't played it.
Yeah, so explain this one to me. I know it is open world and you've got kind of these open world zone platforming, stuff like that. what is the appeal of the game, first of all, for you?
So, to be honest, I was more curious about this one, and I saw some critical reviews weren't that great. It sat in sort of the 60 to 70 region, but I started to see the very positive reviews coming in on Steam, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go. I bought it, I fired it up, and I kind of was captivated by it. The freewheeling nature of going through the open world with Sonic at incredible speeds is extremely addictive and very well done in this game. I mean, some of the level design is awesome. I really enjoyed that aspect. And yeah, just mind-blowing to play Sonic in such an open environment.
Yeah, and I do get the appeal. I grew up with a Game Boy, and I get the appeal of like these platformers, adventure-style games on a handheld device. So this is one that I do understand quite well, the appeal. Why is it fun, and does it work well on Steam Deck?
So it took me a couple of tweaks. You do have to turn the graphics down in this one to get it running at a decent 30 or 40 frames. I run it at 40 frames a second, and there is sometimes some stuttering. And this game is notorious for pop-in, right? One of the big criticisms about this game was the amount of pop-in, but that's whether you play on high graphic settings or not. Overall, the small screen definitely makes it more impressive, and I have to highlight with Sonic Frontiers, and it's not the sort of game we normally cover on the channel, it's the feeling of speed. I mean, you think you're going fast in this game, and then you get 100 rings or however many rings you need, and you get the double speed or the turbo speed, and you are flying around these islands. You're doing jumps, tricks, you're on rails. I just absolutely love it. And then you have the 2D levels thrown in as well, and that just makes for a complete experience. If I had to give a criticism of the actual game outside of the Steam Deck, I would say some of the environments look the same and you're doing very similar things. But I'm not tired of it yet, and I'm enjoying it.
Cool. And one thing that you mentioned with some of the others is the battery life. It seems like quite a high performance game. Does it hit the battery life hard?
Yeah, look, the graphical performance on this is not perfect, but it's good enough and better than some other modern titles. But it does tank the battery life. So with this one, you're probably going sub 2 hours, as it will eat for your battery life. So that is something to be aware of. Higher performance game, more graphics, more things going on, less battery life.
All right, good to know. And next up is a game that I am incredibly familiar with. I think we both are. It is Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, Vampire Survivors really is tailor-made for the Steam Deck. It's a very addictive game. I've played probably around 12 to 15 hours and absolutely loved it. I recommended it to you, and then you went right off the deep end with it.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to get every achievement in the game. I think I'm at 130 out of 159. I've become obsessed. So when you put this on the list for the Steam Deck, I was all in. Why? It looks to me like it would really work on this platform, but why does it work for you?
For me, obviously, it's a mix of it's not going to break the processor or the graphics chip. It's fairly low demand, but it runs extremely well on the battery life. So you're going to get a lot of playtime out of this. And of course, when you're sat in bed or you're away from home, it's extremely addictive. And I think you'll definitely testify to that. So I have played for a couple of hours at a time, and I just want to play again. And it looks lovely on the Steam Deck screen. So yeah, it's just tailor-made for that handheld sort of format. And I think you can probably see why, having played quite a bit of it now.
Yeah, and to me, it almost could be one of those games where you're better at it on a handheld device rather than on the computer. Is that true?
I think that it definitely helps, because if I was going to play this on computer, I would play it with the gamepad. So naturally, the Steam Deck is a big gamepad, so that works really well. I don't know how you're playing it, keyboard and mouse? Or...
Keyboard and mouse, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if I was going to play this on my PC, I would fire up the old Xbox controller and use that. You don't need that precise movement in it. I mean, you obviously, as things get a bit crazy, you've got to stay in your safe spaces and things like that, but there's been times when I've been playing this and I've got so powerful that I've just walked away and my Steam Deck's just going crazy. And I've gone off, got a drink, come back, and I'm still killing creatures.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this one really speaks to me, so glad you put it on the list. And this is the sort of game that would make me want to pick up a Steam Deck for sure.
Definitely. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Probably people are no stranger to this game, but, it is definitely one of the key titles on Steam Deck and runs extremely well and gives you plenty of battery life.
And the next game we have for you guys is one I'm very unfamiliar with. It is X3 Terran Conflict. Luke, your game, I believe.
So yeah, when I first got the Steam Deck, I instantly was very interested to see how X4 Foundations would run on it. And the answer is that it does run. It runs pretty okay, but I don't imagine long run in a big game that it would work too well. So my thoughts were, look, I played about 160 hours of X3 Terran Conflict. I'd like to go back and see how this runs on the Steam Deck. And given some tweaks, especially in the controller settings, because it has a very complicated controller setup, it runs exceptionally well. The graphics can be pumped right up, and the battery life is extensive. So if you are looking for that Space Odyssey on your Steam Deck, this is one of the top games which will satisfy that. The other one, which I'm testing for an honourable mention, would be Helium Rain, but I haven't developed the control scheme for that yet. So I will say it takes a good bit of work to program your control scheme, but it can be done using radial menus and the awesome functionality of the Steam Deck itself.
So this one really baffles me because when I look at the game and from what you've told me about it, I haven't played it myself, but it looks like the sort of game that wouldn't really suit a handheld device that well. Why does it work? Is you said radial menus and functionality of the Steam Deck?
Yeah, exactly. So because of the really great functionality of the Steam Deck, you can program in so many different menus and button combinations. Now, you do need to sit down for an hour or so and plan this one out. But for instance, on the left trackpad, I tend to program a radial menu. So you can essentially have so many keyboard keys programmed to that menu. And for a game like X3, that works really well. Another game that I've done that for is Klingon Academy and also Bridge Commander. So on Klingon Academy, I have almost, I think, 20 commands programmed to this one menu. And it does take work on Terran Conflict. If you walk away and don't play it for a few days, you kind of forget your own setup. So you do have to be focused in on it. But the performance is excellent and the battery life is also really, really good. One of the longest I've been playing for such a massive game.
Well, yeah, that does surprise me. I would have thought this sort of game would have tanked the battery quite quickly.
Well, being an older game, it's not that demanding. I think it doesn't have any of the modern graphics of Sonic Frontiers and different games like that. So essentially, it runs really well. And that did surprise me as well. But yeah, it's definitely one of the bigger, more ambitious games to enjoy on the Steam Deck. There are others like this that I have for examples, but I'll save them for later videos.
Lovely stuff. And for the final game, you've decided to challenge me with the name. I believe it's Yakuza Kiwami 2. Is this correct?
I have no idea, but given the insane nature of this game, I really don't think they're going to mind how we say it, to be honest.
Okay, so you sold me at insane. Tell me some more, and how does it run on the Steam Deck?
So I'm going to give a quick example. Last night, I was wandering along through this beautiful Japanese city, and I decided to look into a car. Some guy came out and said, "Hey man, you're looking at my cherry," or something like that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he decided that I'd been flirting with his car, and he said that Daddy's here to kick my ass, and then I had to street fight him for the honor of the car.
I mean this happens in my normal life, so it doesn't seem that far-fetched.
Not that crazy for you, but there is some insane stuff in this game. Now, people might say, why are you coming in with the second installment? Well, I already played Yakuza 0 and played most of the first remake. So essentially, Tom, I don't think you realise Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are remakes of the original Yakuza games. They've been upgraded with modern engines, and they're really impressive. Yeah,
right,
really impressive games. Yeah. And honestly, there is so much to do in this game. Once you get past the absolute Japanese insanity, which I kind of love, there are casinos you can visit. You can play the entire game of Virtual Fighter within it. You can go to arcades. And then there's a story, which is totally bonkers, but really addictive. And of course, my girlfriend's favorite, the karaoke. So I often go to the karaoke in this game and then go, "Oh, quick, listen to this." And she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And yeah, I'm there I'm
No.
there basically singing some really cheesy Japanese songs, but the songs are actually pretty good, I have to say.
So to bring it back to the Steam Deck, how does this function? And does it suit? Does this sort of game suit on the Steam Deck, or is it something you've had to adapt to, like with X3 with the radial menus and stuff like that?
Yeah, not at all. This is tailor-made for the Steam Deck. Everything runs straight away with no real tweaking. It is quite graphically demanding, so I turned down the graphics to around medium, and I'm getting around 40 frames per second. But yeah, look, you're probably going to get an hour and a half on this, and I know because I've been doing hour and a half stints at night. But yeah, overall, it's absolutely tailor-made. It is completely verified for Steam Deck with a green tick. And I'll give it to Sega. Most of their games are actually running extremely well on Steam Deck, so it's obviously something they've done very well in their production.
Yeah, just looking at the visuals on this game, it does seem like something which absolutely would suit a handheld device. I'm really kind of intrigued by this, and Vampire Survivors as well. Any kind of closing thoughts for Yakuza?
Yeah, I just absolutely love this game. I am planning on going back and playing Yakuza 0 again on the Steam Deck, and then I want to work my way through the rest of the series. And this is not the sort of game that we actually normally cover on the channel, so yeah, it's kind of nice to have a passion outside of the channel. I never knew that I'd be so much into this Japanese style, but it is absolutely extremely addictive, and I guess you can say it's like the Japanese Grand Theft Auto type style of game.
Awesome. And there we have it, LT Gamers, our top 5 Steam Deck games so far. And I say our, I mean Luke's, as I've not really contributed to this list, but I might pick up a Steam Deck now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a bunch of games that I wouldn't normally play sat at my computer, which I now play, like the Yakuza series. So yeah, it's brilliant to just lie down, relax, and get involved in some madness like that game. And overall, I really love my Steam Deck so far. I do think it's a little temperamental at times, but no sort of game-breaking bugs or Steam-breaking bugs thus far. I just, you normally restart the thing and it works fine.
Fantastic. I mean, let us know what you guys think of our list, what suggestions you might have, because Luke's going to kind of be revisiting this list a lot with games as he updates, and we want to hear your thoughts and suggestions on what we can try out.
Definitely, and like I said, don't consider this a definitive list. It's basically what I've really enjoyed so far. I could have fitted another 15 games on this list, but I plan it for later videos just to let you guys know exactly what performance is like and what you can expect to enjoy on the Steam Deck. So from my side, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye, guys.